certainly a difficult season. I guess just how do you encapsulate it?
Well, it's difficult to encapsulate in a short way. It just felt like it was one of those years where it was just bracketed into different types of seasons throughout one season, you know. Obviously, with the tough start, you put yourself behind the 8 ball right away. It's pretty difficult to have success in this league, and we were so far behind the 8 ball that I thought we had one of the better runs from any team in MLS this year for a span of 10 to 15 games. I don't know exactly however many it was, and even that was not enough to close the gap. And so, obviously, we had a whole lot of players, different players play. Certainly, different players play in different positions, different partnerships, all kinds of things that is difficult to overcome in a season. And I think we found some good stretches with a certain team throughout it, and obviously it wasn't good enough in the end.
Have you ever been part of a team that's gone through a season with this many injuries?
Closest for me was in 2018 with Toronto FC. We won the championship the year before. We had about 3 weeks off, went straight into Champions League, lost in the final, and then there was a whole litany of injuries that occurred after that. It's, as you've seen in this league, it's difficult to withstand a lot of the games that were played, and that's probably as close as it gets. But those were a lot of muscular injuries and stuff like that. These kinds of injuries are things that guys can't really do anything to prevent. The training staff can't really do anything to prevent when it comes to ligaments and things like that. It's a lot more difficult to manage and difficult to prevent than some muscular injuries in that regard. This is the most extreme I've ever seen it.
And when you look at where the injuries occurred in terms of on the field, which was pretty much everywhere.
Sure.
But you lose your spine.
Yep.
Most veteran center back, your holding midfielder, your striker. Midfield itself is a little bit in flux with Markey in and out depending on where he was. The back line where partnerships are most important.
Yep.
Every position I think had injuries, maybe left back not so much.
Yep.
But, just trying to build off of that and as a team be strong defensively, because that's really where we saw the problems, is too many goals conceded and too many goals that really shouldn't be conceded.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, you said everything I would have said. I mean, look, partnerships matter, continuity matters. We see the best teams in this league, the most successful teams in this league. They've got a similar team on the field every week and week in and week out. And unfortunately, Greg was not afforded that luxury this year. We were not afforded that luxury this year. We pick up a player in Maya halfway through the season who's able to play every game, but he played with 3 different center backs. And as soon as I was finally got an opportunity to play, I get a back injury. You know, as soon as Chris starts to get a run of form, he gets a groin injury, whatever it may be. And so compare that with all the season-ending injuries and stuff like that. Of course, it's difficult, but we know that we could have done a better job. Those of us who were able to play in some of the games that we had, and in replace of some of those players, and we'll learn from that and we'll get better. And I think we'll be deeper and more experienced and better next year because of it.
As a player who's on coming back next year, how much does this season burn the fire for next season?
A lot. I mean, I said to the guys a couple nights ago, to lose like that, to have a home game but already be out of the playoffs is something that no player wants to ever go through. We want to give our fans special nights. That's what they deserve, and we are more motivated than ever as a club, as a player pool for this team to remedy this, to bring back good moments and not have so many negative moments throughout a season. And so I hate to lose. I know there's a lot of guys in this locker room who hate to lose and want to have better moments and to be involved in the playoffs and not be watching from our couch. It's just not what you want to do as a competitor. And so we'll come back ready right away to hit the ground running.
question on Zoom from Alex Rees. Kevin, can you turn off your volume? Hold on.
He asked about Greg. I heard the question. It's a good question, Alex. I think, as you guys could see when he spoke after the game and the last game of the season, I think he takes a lot of this, a lot of weight of what's happened this season and what goes on at this club personally. And nobody, I can assure you, nobody in the world wants this club to succeed and this team to succeed more than Greg does. In terms of the way he managed it, not very many managers, in my opinion, can keep the team engaged and afloat and together throughout a season like this, as well as I thought he did, for us to even be in the position we were to be able to be fighting in the end. I know that he will evaluate himself, as we all will, to say, what could I have done better? Because ultimately we didn't succeed. Success is winning a championship at this club, and that's not what we did this year. And so, again, I thought he did a very good job to keep us all together. He is a very tactical-minded coach, and you need time and you need continuity with some of those things, and I think he wasn't afforded that this year. But like I won't, I'm sure he won't. We're not in the business of making excuses. We need to get better, and we'll do that coming into next year for sure.
And then we have one final one from Josh Guessman.
Eriq, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. If you can look back at the beginning of the year and the fan boycott, everything that sort of led to that first half of the season, Raheem was talking and said that it affected you guys probably more than you guys let on. What are your thoughts on just the whole process that led through that first half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, let me start by saying, first and foremost, I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, at any group, at any player. I don't think that's constructive. However, if you look at this objectively, you want your home field to be a fortress, and if you don't have your supporter groups in the stands, no matter the situation, it's going to affect you. And if you look at our home record to start the year, it wasn't very good. Now, us as players still need to show up on the field and play well, and we didn't do a good enough job of that. We didn't win enough games in that early stretch. But, of course, there was a black cloud, if you will, over this building. And we want our supporters to be our supporters and right there with us no matter what. And we want to give them what they deserve, which is success, no matter who's on the field and no matter what happens. And so I think that part of the reason that we went on a run there was because we got them back into the stadium and we stopped having that cloud for sure. But again, I'm not here to make excuses. Nobody is. And we hope that we start the year next year with them in the stands helping us to do what we believe is necessary, and that's making sure that nobody comes in here and thinks that they're going to get any points.
Thanks, Eriq.
And then we have Rob Gman with a question. Go ahead. Rob, can you hear us?
I'm sorry, did you call me?
Did you have a question?
I'm sorry, I can't hear well, so I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my question, Eriq. Thank you so much for your time. I know that Maya's spoken about preseason already starting. Greg has spoken about that as well. The work starts now. On a personal level, do you have any certain way that you're going to get prepared for next season? And then has the coaching staff maybe given you any homework or any tape or anything to do to get prepared for next season? Thanks.
Thank you. I have not had any conversations with the coaching staff since the year ended yet. That is something that for sure we will do to talk about things that were successful, things that I need to get better at. I'll be entering year 12, and I firmly believe that every year you play, there's something that you should add and improve and make better for the year upcoming, and I will do that. For me, the biggest thing is durability. I think I had a lot of moments this year where I stepped on the field and was able to help the team, but then for whatever reason, something would come up and I wasn't able to have the run of games that I felt like I deserved and I felt like the team needed from me. And so this offseason, especially going in again into year 12, for me is all about making sure durability is there so that whenever Greg needs me next year, I can step on the field and be at my best. And so I think I had some good moments this year for sure. I wish I was a part of more winning games again, like anybody else, but for me, my primary focus is durability, along with everything else that I always do in the off season, to be prepared as much as possible come January 13th or whatever the day is that we start next year.
All right, thanks for your time, Eriq.
Thank you, guys.